Today, I'm joined by Kim Simmonds. Kim is the CEO and founder at Law 365 and Cloud Contracts 365, two innovative legal businesses. Kim was also recognised by the Lawyer Hot 100 as a visionary entrepreneur and leader and an advocate for diversity. So welcome, Kim.
Thank you, Simon. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. So, Kim, look, let's start off by you just telling us a bit more about your two primary businesses.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. So, two businesses, one Law 365, which has been running for about 10 years. That's not a traditional law firm, but definitely more of that structure. You know, I've got lawyers in place. We do commercial law, corporate law, employment law. And that's been running, like I said, for 10 years, and that's in that sort of structure. And recently I have a startup called Cloud Contracts 365, which is actually a spin out of Law 365 because I've developed AI products the last 2 years within Law 365, which then I've spun into this new business, Cloud Contracts. And essentially, that's a legal tech platform enabling tech businesses to create their own contracts, review commercial contracts instantly using just the platform, and then manage their contracts, e-signature functionality, for example, data room access, automatic renewal reminders. So those are the two primary businesses. I will just say as well, I've been very much in the tech sector, and that's been my focal point for both of the businesses. I'm a sort of niche, if you like, and I believe in niching. So tech is my niche, and we're all sort of niched into that, including the platform.
Right. Okay. Well, look, thank you for just giving us that overview. So, so why did you decide to sort of start up your own business? Because sort of looking back, I think you started out as a lawyer, did you,
Yes.
Kim, for working for a law firm, etc. But why did you decide to set up your own business?
So back in the day when I was working for other people, and I've worked for big law, I've worked for medium law, I've worked for small law, okay? And that's how we classify them in terms of their sizes. But, I've very much saw gaps in the market. There wasn't transparency of costs, which always irked me because I think clients ought to know how long a lawyer needs to take to do things truly. But also, I thought that there wasn't enough in terms of diversity, in terms of allowing women to break the glass ceiling. And this is going back 10 years ago, it felt that women had to choose between careers and motherhood. And I thought there must be a better way. In actual fact, we brought in remote working before COVID. So, we were naturally working, I think at that point, 2 days a week from home and to get them set up. And then obviously COVID hit and everyone sort of panicked because no one knew how to do remote working. So things like that. And that was to enable flexibility and to enable women to work around the schedules of the pickups and the drop-off times. So really, I started business by seeing a gap in the market
Yeah.
and trying to do a bit better by the industry.
And was being a business owner something that you had always planned to do, or was it just when you sort of saw this gap in the market that you thought, actually, I know what I'm going to do?
Yeah, I never planned to be a business owner at all. In actual fact, it's a bit mad because I had a great paying job, in the six figures at the age of 24. And I thought to myself, well, this is great. I've made it. I've arrived. I think through life, I've realized that um, when I get frustrated by something, I'm the sort of person that needs to go and fix it. I can't just sit there being frustrated by it. And I think that's obviously my entrepreneurial spirit that was pushing me to kind of go into, owning my own business. It was a bit of a brave move, I think, because I left security and I left, the known for the complete unknown and total, no security whatsoever around me. But I wouldn't have changed it for anything.
Fantastic. That's great to hear, and congratulations on what you've achieved as well, because it's a great accolade what you've achieved with your businesses. What was it over the last? Well, your first business, and you said you started about 12 years ago.
So 10 years, yeah, 10 years old, that is. And the new one is the AI one. That's just launched, but actually we've been developing the product for about 2 years. So, but that's a startup, which is a whole different business,
Yeah.
different business model, different challenges to that business. But yes, that's where I'm at.
Okay, great. So going back to when you sort of started out Law 365,
Mm.
what were some of the challenges that you faced at that time?
I think the first challenge was trying to carve my market out and carve my USP, because obviously what I was delivering was a legal service that was in competition with very established law firms around me. So I thought, gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to build myself a business through this? And that's why the niching element was really critical for me. So prior to starting the business, I was very involved in a Microsoft partner business. And for those listeners, Microsoft partners are just independent businesses that partner with Microsoft to resell their licenses, but also deliver IT services and, build IT products and what have you. And there's 30,000 of them in the UK. There's 3.5 million worldwide. So it's not an insignificant market, but it is a niche. And they've got to really figure out their partnership with Microsoft. What do those terms and conditions mean? How do they flow them down? How do they work on their business model? How does cash get affected? How do the contracts help? So I did that for many years. And I thought, do you know what? I'm quite good at this. I quite enjoy it. Why don't I start my business being known as that go-to person? And that's really how it started.
Okay. And you you describe your business as helping technology businesses grow quickly with
Yeah.
less risk and peace of mind. So just perhaps tell me a little bit more about that, if that's okay, Kim.
I love it. You've done your research, Simon. That's wonderful. So yeah, we help tech businesses grow with less risk is our strap line. And the reason we do it is because a lot of people see lawyers as a cost center, right? And that we're not in growth mode. When you're using lawyers, they're not going to help you grow. They're going to help you, take the cost from you and from your profitability. And actually, a lot of people resist using lawyers for that reason, right? Unless they absolutely have to. We've heard that so many times through the legal industry. We're only there when they absolutely need us. And actually, it's spinning that in a different way. And it's looking at lawyers as the ones that can actually help come in, restructure your customer journey, restructure the contract offering, make it quick and efficient, create better sales process by virtue of having better customer journeys through your contracts, and thereby allowing the business to actually grow quicker and removing the bottlenecks through efficiency and delivery of work. And that's what we've created.
And I think that's brilliant because, as business owners, we can, you know, there's a lot of things that being in business requires. And particularly when you're a solopreneur, you need to do them all. You need to
Yes,
do the operations, you need to do sales,
yes, all
marketing,
the
and
hats.
yeah, absolutely. So what you're sort of saying is, well, let's take one of those things, one of those big things away from you, so that you can focus on the other parts of the business,
Yeah.
and grow quickly.
Yes, so many clients that we saw, in the early days, especially where, they were one-man bands themselves, they were wearing all those hats, but they didn't have the skill set to really understand how to navigate their risk and their contract risk scores and, how to lay out proper paperwork for their clients and how to create more efficiency through that. So it really was just helping them remove that hat away from them and giving it to a firm that can actually do that for them, can take all the heavy lifting for them and start to transform the way that they do things. Even very established businesses who've been in a mess for so long because they've grown quickly and they haven't kind of operationally become the excellence that they need to be. It's coming in going, just take a breath, look at your customer journey. Where are the touch points? And what can you do to make that faster for you? Get that cash in quicker and get the projects underway. Let lawyers help you solve that problem, which was like a brand new thing for people to think about. They were like, no, lawyers can't do that. And I was like, no, we can.
I I really like that because I think, in terms of, you know, I'm hearing this sort of more and more, and obviously you picked up on
Mm.
this, where as you say, sort of 10 years ago, but about actually working with businesses, not just providing them with this is our service, but actually we can help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Mm.
And that's in relation to things like accountants as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, accountants now are very much, well, look, we're not just going to do your audited accounts. Let's work with you
Yeah.
to help you grow and help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Oh, massively. And accountants as well. I mean, I'm finding this in my own business, that if you get a good CFO that can come in as an interim support and actually look at the way you're pricing things, look at your revenue, your cost, of goods sold, everything, and look at it properly with you and go, why have you got this in here? What's going on here? You could be doing this better, and this is how you can sort of streamline it, or how you might incentivize people in your business to work harder. People have a place with their skill set, and it's about understanding the skill sets. Law is the same. We have a very business acumen. We can come in and look at things from a business point of view.
I think, look, the other thing that rings sort of true with this is that, and actually I gave a presentation on this last night, is about productivity and the importance of productivity. And again, I've done a bit of research on this, but actually the UK is 12th out of 16 European countries in terms of productivity. So in terms of GDP divided by the hours worked. And actually it's only Portugal, Italy, Greece and Spain that have got less productivity. Now, so what we need to work out as business owners is, how can we be more productive? Because if we're more productive, that makes more profit. If we make more
Absolutely.
profit, not a lot of people like to hear this, but we'll pay more tax. But that's a
Yeah.
good thing. Paying more
Yes.
tax means that you're making more profit.
Yes.
So if you make more profit, it might enable you to pay higher salaries, and then those people that get the salaries pay more tax, which helps the UK economy. So
Yeah.
productivity is really key. And it sounds like, what you're actually offering is supporting businesses to be more productive, to
Oh,
be more efficient,
100%.
do
100%.
more in less time.
What I tell them is, you as a CEO and spending 8 to 10 hours a week on contracts, is that a good use of your time? If did that really cost you £1,000 or £2,000, of your time, or was that considerably more? Because that's quite a considerable amount of time in the week, right? And when you look at the value of that against what the actual person is doing, then you see that actually it makes more sense to give it to someone who's expert and understands it, right? And then you're gaining advantage in that way. But productivity is a really interesting field for me, because obviously I've built the two businesses that complement one another, but one is AI and one is seen by lots of people as, does that reduce and cut the need for lawyers? And it's the same thing for when you're looking at, and I'll answer that quickly because I think it's an interesting point. Lawyers ought to be doing high level advisory work, not low hanging fruit work, right? That people are just doing on their own and getting it wrong. That's what my platform basically fixes, that gap. Okay. So then when people need the high level advisory work that AI can't do, that's when you're going to want the lawyer to come in and really kind of take control. But
Yeah,
if
I
you
think,
look at it from a business point of view, are you using AI in your business to create efficiency? Are you looking at everyone's job roles, right? Actually deciding what they should be doing, where they're spending most of their time, actually looking at that and going, are you being efficient? And are you here to do exactly what your skill set is here to do? Because I can tell you that most people don't do this. And AI can help plug that gap. It doesn't have to be a threat.
that is absolutely, I support your sort of view there in terms of, I've got the view that actually, actually I'll use lawyers, but I'll use other sort of professions as well. So I don't think AI will replace lawyers. However, lawyers that use AI will
Yes.
replace lawyers that don't.
Yes,
The
that's
same,
often being
same as
said.
business
Yeah.
coaches, what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. AI won't replace business coaches, but business coaches that use AI will replace those that don't. The same as
Yeah.
managers in businesses. managers that use AI will replace business managers that don't. So it's a great tool
Yeah,
to actually use, and it's not going to replace jobs. It's going to change them. It's going to change
it
the way
will
we
change
work, but
them.
it's not going to
Yeah.
replace them. So actually, and I'm interested in what you sort of said there, Kim, was that so the reason that you sort of set up the new business,
Yeah.
was that because you saw that there was a challenge
Hmm.
to your current business and lawyers, or was it that you saw an opportunity, or was it both?
It was both, actually, very clearly both. It was a problem I was trying to solve, and the problem was this. I would have the small business owners that came to the door saying, I want a master services agreement, right? And then I'd give them the price, and they say, oh gosh, that's a very expensive price. And I said, well, yes, but I have overheads and I have salaries and everything to consider. That's the price. That's what you pay for a lawyer to do it, right? But these things were not rocket science, okay? Because actually it's quite light touch from the lawyer. You're really paying for the IP of that template. And ultimately, if you don't have the pocket, to go for, a master services agreement, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the internet, or you're going to cobble together some old contracts that you might have brought over from a previous employer, and then you're going to do yourself an injustice by having a rubbish set of templates that you're using and putting more risk in the business. Then life goes on and blah, blah, blah. We know the story, right? And I said to myself, right, that's number one challenge. Number two challenge is a lot of people want very light touch reviews, what they call it. So you look at a contract, you give them a RAG system, red, amber, green, and it's a light touch because they want to win the deal. Just tell me where all the biggest issues are. And again, this is based on hourly rates a lot of the time, and really not great because you're not going to get necessarily a huge amount of work out of that, because often they'll go away and negotiate it themselves. So can I build a product in the platform that instantly does this, instantly legally reviews it for you and rags it for you, right? So that's the AI sort of machine learning piece in the platform, which like I said, it took us 2 years to build, but we built it and launched it. Those things. And the contract management tool, 2 years ago, clients were saying, can you just send it out for signature? Can
Mm.
you store it for me? Can you give me a summary of the terms? And I can, but it's going to cost you thousands to do that. Why, and they quite sensibly were like, no, thank you, we'll do it ourselves. So I thought this is ripe for automation. That was the opportunity. So those were the problems that I tried to solve. But the opportunity is, can we automate a lot of this stuff? And then I thought the answer was yes. And we went ahead with a proof of concept, which worked beautifully. We got Innovate UK funding last year of 500,000 to build it. And we've launched it successfully this year. So that's the sort of thing that we can really help a business become efficient, stop the bottlenecks, but also go to the lawyers as real investment
Yeah,
for that time that they need the high level advisory work.
yeah, absolutely great. And then that links into what we were sort of saying about that productivity, because as you say, the lawyers are really focusing on where they can add sort of the best value, which
Yeah.
is great. So what would you say the biggest learnings have been for you since being in business, Kim?
I've got quite an interesting take on it now because I run two very different businesses. I've got a product-led business, which is my AI stuff, and then I've got a professional services business, which is very people-led. And they are different. They have different challenges in their own right. When you've got a people-led business, you've got people. And you've got challenges that naturally go with that because people are people, right? But when you're leading a product business, you have different challenges. The product can fail, the product can have bugs. You might have some irate customers going, where's this and where's that? You might have, technical challenges that no one luckily sees, but you're fixing frantically in the background. And it's costly. It's a really costly business because it has to have a lot of cost in it before it can start to make revenue because you're building it. So it's quite cash intensive, whereas professional services, you'll build the cash, you'll build the people as the revenue increases. So you'll have different challenges on cash certainty, on risk appetite, on whether it's people versus product, whether it's bugs or human error. It's these two challenges, and I don't know why I've done it to myself, quite frankly, because it's enough to have one type of business, type of challenges. But actually, I really see how the two are working beautifully together. And that's always been my vision. create them so that they can work off each other and help one another.
Yeah. Okay. And we mentioned we've been talking about sort of productivity and we've
Mm.
talked about sort of AI and systems and that other thing, but you mentioned in there people. And one of the things that I think improves productivity is people working better and smarter
Hmm.
and to enable them to do that, they it needs to be continued training and development and
Yeah.
support. So what are your views on, because you've got a team of people on training
Yeah.
and developing your teams?
I think you have to set a vision
Mm.
for what you want the firm, the company to look like and be like and feel like, and then train against it. I
Right.
think it's really important because sometimes if you don't have a clear structure of this is where the business is going, this is how we want to develop our people to fit in with that cultural change or that shift of approach, then actually your training sort of becomes a bit erratic. So I think it's important to have a really measured understanding of who's got the skill, where are the skill gaps in the team? How can you plug them in? If you plug them in, will that person still thrive or is it kind of lost on that person? It's very important to ask yourself that question because some people may not even be interested in that sort of skill set
Yeah.
and you're pushing something on them that's not where they shine. So get to understand what you want as the business owner, as the visionary to kind of go forwards and get to know your people. Where are their skill gaps at the moment? Have they got the willingness to go to where you need them to go? And then you can design a great training program around that. But you've got to do it in that order, I think.
Yeah, look, a great explanation there. Thank you for putting it in that way because yeah, it's knowing that end destination first, isn't it? Well,
Mm.
okay, where are we going? So I use uh, a number of different formulas in my coaching, but one of which is dream times goal times plan times learn
Hmm.
times act equals
Hmm.
success.
Yeah.
Success. And yeah, it starts off with that dream, that vision.
Mm.
And then, as you say, then it's okay, what do I need to learn? And what does my team need to learn to
Yeah.
achieve that vision of where we need to get to? So it's great that you've explained it in that way. So Kim, I've got one question that I like to ask everybody that comes
Yeah.
onto this the interview sort of podcast, and that is this: what if you could go back and speak to an 18-year-old you? What would you say?
Don't do it. No, just kidding. Don't do it. You'll be in
Yeah.
a world full of pain. No, no, genuinely. What would I say to my 18-year-old self? I think I would probably genuinely do different things. I don't think I would. Though I've loved being a lawyer, I haven't really been a lawyer myself because I've got a team of lawyers. I haven't been a lawyer myself for quite a few years in strict sense of the word. I've been a business owner, right? But actually, I think I'd probably try to skill myself up in different ways from 18. I would try to do more, have a better understanding of businesses, have a better viewpoint on how to structure things, just simple things like that. But also, I think I would say to myself, be confident. Be confident in whatever you want to achieve. Just go for it. Don't be afraid because I think I've held myself back for quite some time, to be honest with you. I've had imposter syndrome. I've had the sort of female imposter syndrome where I don't feel equal to my male colleagues, business owners who might be doing better than me. And I sort of feel like, oh, I've taken time out for my children and what have you. Just feel confident that it doesn't matter where you're at or how much you're getting or whatever it is, do what you want to do and do it with as much passion as possible.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you very much for sharing that. And as we shared before we came on this podcast, is that I've got an 18-year-old daughter, so
Yeah,
I'll be sure to share that with her as well. So thank you very
definitely.
much, Kim. But
Thank you,
so
Simon.
Kim, look, I really appreciate you taking the time and speaking with me today and sharing more about your businesses and also your journey as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon.